What's up guys, CJ here and welcome back to this week's all-new Injustice 2 video. While we still haven't gotten beta codes like the vast majority of people it seems, so we can't do what we'd initially planned to do over the last couple of weeks and have a little fun with that beta gameplay, we here at the Hybrid Network still have a lot of burning questions about the game. Today, we're going to talk about one of those questions, and while it kind of seems a little outlandish, a little out there, it's not actually as far-fetched as it might seem at first, especially given what we know about the DLC skins and the villains of the game thus far. With Hal Jordan reportedly making an appearance as a playable character, even though he hasn't been confirmed yet, John Stewart as another Green Lantern appearing as a DLC skin, Sinestro's presence in the first Injustice, and Atrocitus repping the Red Lanterns in this game, a good chunk of the emotional spectrum is well represented in the Injustice universe already. But this has led some of us to wonder if we could see the other Lantern Corps in this game. Outside of the green, yellow, and red lanterns, there are 6 other corps out there floating around in space: blue, indigo, violet, orange, black, and white. Each of the corps represents a different emotion. Just as the Green Lanterns represent willpower and the Yellow Lanterns fear, blue represents hope, indigo compassion, violet love, orange greed, black death or the absence of emotion, and white life, the presence and harmony of all of the emotions. And already off that list, there are a few that we can probably rule out seeing in the game just kind of out of hand. The White Lanterns probably won't show up, as Kyle Rayner, the leader and at times the only White Lantern, is dead in the Injustice universe. Similarly, I doubt we'd see the Indigo Tribe, as they're a little more of a fringe group with a complicated backstory, no matter how interesting it is, that would probably be a little too difficult to set up and explain in the game. They could show up in the comic though. But outside of those two, there are pretty realistic odds for any of the 4 corps to appear, so from here on out, I'll list them in order from who I consider the least likely to the most likely I think might appear. First up and least likely on this list, the Blue Lantern Corps. So sorry to any Blue Lantern fans out there, but I think this is just a little more unlikely than the other possibilities. I mean, even assuming the Blue Lantern that might appear would most likely be Saint Walker, the first and last of the Blue Lanterns in the comics, I just don't see it happening for a couple of reasons specifically. First, kind of like the Indigo Tribe, the Blue Lanterns are a little more of a fringe group at this point in the comics, and secondly, there's really not any overt or obvious connection to the existing Injustice universe, or anything that we know is going on in the story. Next up, the Black Lanterns. This one might surprise some people, as the Black Lanterns are both pretty popular and in the public eye compared to the other corps, and I could really honestly see either Necron appearing as a skin for Atrocitus, or Black Hand appearing as another skin for Hal, maybe. They also have a more obvious connection to the universe, given the amount of death that has occurred, but I just don't see a pretty prominent group like the Black Lanterns being kind of a one-off thing or a DLC skin thing, so maybe they'll be the primary villains of Injustice 3. I think that would make a lot of sense. That would be kind of a cool Blackest Night thing that they could do. Next up, the corps I see as the second most likely to appear, the Orange Lanterns. I'm sure this is actually pretty surprising, and honestly, it was a pretty tight race between the Black and Orange corps for who would come in second, but ultimately I gave the edge to the Orange corps because of an overt story beat from recent comics and a connection to the game's Big Bad. While I honestly think it's more than a little unlikely that this has happened in the Injustice universe, I can't exactly rule it out as a possibility. In the new DC Rebirth continuity and the most current Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps run of comics, it was revealed that Brainiac 2.0 had secretly been awoken and was being controlled by Larfleeze, the leader and sole member of the Orange Lantern Corps. Like I said, I really don't see this coming to pass in the game, but I think Larfleeze potentially appearing would be a really cool pull, whether as a DLC skin or even just an Easter egg somewhere in the game. Finally, the corps I see as most likely to appear is, without a doubt, the Star Sapphires. Carol Ferris already exists in the Injustice universe. We know that much from the comic, but we don't know if at that point she had already become Star Sapphire. It seems likely to me that maybe, whether before or during the events of the first game, or in the time jump period between the 2 games, she very well could have taken up that mantle. Given her history with Hal, her connection to the other Lantern Corps, and her role as one of the major players in Green Lantern's character history, I think it's very likely that she appears, whether as a skin, like a lot of these other options I've mentioned, or potentially as a complete character of her own, whether in the main game or in the DLC. Anyways, let me know what you think of this list, and if you think we'll see the other Lantern Corps in the game, but that's going to do it from me here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, and subscribe for more great content every single day. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.